Horn and Helmet ASMR. Thank you for watching.
Hi, welcome to the first of the more casual ASMR videos. This isn't going to be scripted, it's not going to be narrative, it's just whatever interesting thing I feel like doing that month. And today, since I've got a new D&D campaign coming up, I'm going to record myself making a character sheet and walk you through the process. I'm making an orcish cleric named Crucht Gethal, mostly because I find the idea of an orc cleric to be incredible. A lot of people think about orcs and say, oh, well, they're just big violent people. No, this one's going to be a healer. So let me get some of my dice out, because the first thing I'm going to do is roll 4d6, and drop the lowest one. Because while you can just roll 3d6 for your stats, you can end up with some rough ones, and we're going to try and avoid that. So let me get my dice out of my bag. There's another d6. So I've got 4d6. I'm going to roll 4 of them and drop the lowest one and just go straight down the line. And whatever stats I get. This is a short-term campaign, so I'm not terribly worried about optimizing or picking the best stats. It's mostly for roleplay, and if I end up with cruddy ones, so be it. Well, for strength, I rolled a 5, a 6, a 3, and a 1. So that's 14 for the starting strength value. Dexterity. 5, 4, 3, and 2. So that's 12 for Dex. Because remember, you drop the lowest one, so you only add in the top 3 dice. Constitution. He's a cleric. He should have pretty decent constitution. Not as great as I was hoping. 3, 3, 3, and 2. So that's only 9 for con. And that gives me a -1, which will be rough when I start putting in my hit points. Intelligence. Not too worried about intelligence. Although I don't remember what clerics use as their spellcasting ability. I don't believe it's intelligence. Yeah. Another 4, 3, 2, 1. So intelligence is another 9. Generally, the rule of thumb that my DMs in the past have gone with, as far as character creation, is if you roll stats and you don't have 2 that are 14 or higher, you throw them all out and start again. But like I said, this is a short-term game, maybe 4 or 5 sessions. If Crucht is a detriment to his team, it will be hilarious, because he is an orcish cleric of Luthic, and... Ooh. Are you actually kidding me? For wisdom... I rolled 6, 6, 6, and 5. So this poor man is going to start with an 18 wisdom which is +4 modifier, which means the stat set is now legal. Charisma. Let's see how charismatic Crukt can be. Not terrible. 6, 5, 2, and 1, which is 13. Is my math correct? Yes, 13. So charisma is +1. So strength is +2, dexterity is +1, constitution is -1, intelligence is -1, wisdom, of all things, is +4, and charisma is +1. Not a terrible skill set, but we'll see what happens when I start adding in the other things. So now that I've got my 6 base skills, I'm going to go to the cleric page and see... Actually, no, I'm not. I'm going to go to the orc page and see what ability increases that I get. So I'm going to be using the Volo's Guide to Monsters source for the orc features. Standard. I know they have some newer ones like the Explorer's Guide to Wildmount and Eberron Rising from the Last War, but I'm just going to stick to Volo's Guide to Monsters base orc. So ability score increase. Your strength score increases by 2 and your constitution score increases by 1. So if I go back to my sheet, strength is now 16, which gives me +3, and constitution is now 10, which gives me a straight 0. At least now I won't be subtracting hit points when I roll for this poor man's dice. Speed. Base walking speed is 30 feet. I assumed that, and I'm glad to know that I was correct. Dark vision. I do have dark vision as an orc, so I will go ahead and add that to my sheet. It is a dark vision of 60 feet in dim light, and I can see in darkness as if it were dim light. Cannot discern color, only shades of gray, and that's fine. So let me just add 60 feet of dark vision. And for those of you wondering why I'm typing instead of writing this down, because my D&D group is spread across the country, we play using Roll20 and Foundry. So while we use digital dice and we use webcams, we do use digital sheets. Let's see, aggressive. As a bonus action, you can move up to your speed towards an enemy of your choice that you can see or hear. You must end this move closer to the enemy than you started. So bonus action dash, but only towards an enemy. If you hear me sounding surprised, I have only been playing D&D for a few years, and every time I play, I try to pick something new and different. So I am unaware of any of the orc features and most of the cleric features. I have watched content that prominently features clerics, so I'm not totally unaware, but I have not done the research myself until now. Primal Intuition. You have proficiency in 2 of the following skills of your choice: animal handling, insight, intimidation, medicine, nature, perception, and survival. I want him to be very intimidating, but I also want him to be able to see through people, so I'm going to choose insight and intimidation as my 2 bonus skills. Insight. Ooh, that's already a wisdom score, so that's a +6. And intimidation is charisma, so that becomes a +3. Powerful build. You count as 1 size larger when determining your carrying capacity and the weight you can push, drag, or lift. Languages. You can speak, read, and write Common and Orc. That's fine. I've already got those on my sheet because I knew I was going to be playing an Orc, and it did auto-populate those. Alright, that is my Orc content. So let's move on getting Cleric involved. And I'm just starting at level 1 for now. Our DM may say, no, you need to move up to level 5, which will be nice. But for right now, I'm just going to create this at level 1. So at level 1, proficiency bonus is +2. I get spellcasting and divine domain. I know 3 cantrips, and I have 2 first level spell slots. As a cleric, I gain the following class features. Hit dice is 1d8 per cleric level, but at first level it is just 8 plus my con modifier. So I have 8 hit points at first level, which is rough. In my other campaign that I'm playing right now, we're level 11. And so I have significantly more hit points than that. So being able to only have 8 seems like a huge detriment. Proficiencies. Armor proficiencies. Light armor, medium armor, and shields. Let me add those in. Weapons. All simple weapons. I can never remember which ones are simple and which ones aren't, so I'll have to pull up a sheet for that, but I'm starting with my starting equipment, so that'll be fine. No tools. That's fine. I don't need tools to hit hard. Saving throws are wisdom and charisma, so I will go ahead and check those boxes. And it makes sense, I suppose, that I chose insight and intimidation if I get proficiency with wisdom and charisma saving throws. Skills. Choose 2 from history, insight, medicine, persuasion, and religion. This is where I lean more towards the roleplay side of things. If I was looking to really optimize this character, I would probably choose history and persuasion, just so that I could get as much information as possible and then be able to sway people. However, since I'm going with a cleric, I really feel like it's more important for my character to take medicine and religion. I'm not saying that this is the correct way to go or to build a character. This is just how I'm going to build this character. So, proficiency in medicine, which is also wisdom, and religion, which is intelligence, so that goes from a -1 to a +1. Equipment. You start with the following equipment, in addition to the equipment granted by your background. A mace or a warhammer. I will be taking the warhammer. No, that is not an endorsement of any other tabletop role-playing game, but I just like the idea of a warhammer. Scale mail, leather armor, or chainmail. I'll stick with leather armor. It's a little lower of a defense, but I won't be loud and jangly, and that's always a concern. Rolling those stealth checks at disadvantage, I have learned, is a rough time to be. A light crossbow and 20 bolts, or any simple weapon. I am not proficient enough with a crossbow, so I will pick a simple weapon, which, let's see what simple weapons are. So, simple weapons are... Oh, a light crossbow counts as a simple weapon. So I do have proficiency with a crossbow. A light crossbow, anyway. Yeah, I'll go ahead and take the light crossbow. Just to give me a ranged attack that is not strictly a spell, because you can't always count on spells. I have learned that the hard way in games past. So I get a priest's pack or an explorer's pack. I will go with... the priest's pack. So that gives me a backpack, a blanket, 10 candles, a tinderbox, an alms box, which is kind of like a begging box, but more religious. 2 blocks of incense, a censer, vestments, 2 days of rations. Ooh, only 2 days of rations. And a water skin. That's fine. We can go hunting if we run out of food. Thankfully for the packs and other equipment, Roll20 lets you just drag and drop, and that solves a lot of problems so that I don't have to type it all out and get the weights and make sure that I'm not over encumbered. And then I get a shield and a holy symbol. That's really good. The holy symbol is my spellcasting focus, of course, and a shield just helps boost my armor class and makes me harder to hit, which is all I can ask for right now. Because again, I have 8 hit points. I will do spells later. But I will check. So spell save DC, 8 plus proficiency plus wisdom. So clerics use wisdom to cast. So I really lucked out on that roll. Because like I said, I just rolled straight down the line, and whatever was there was there. So that was a really lucky roll on my part. Ritual casting. I can cast spells that have the ritual tag, and my holy symbol is a spellcasting focus. So Divine Domain. At first level, you choose a domain shaped by your choice of deity and the gifts they grant you. So I chose Luthic as my deity, which is part of the Orcish pantheon, and she is the goddess of caves, but also of healing and protecting children and fighting, surprisingly. Because the orc concepts is, if you're going to protect someone, you need to be able to fight and protect them well. So I will choose, let's see, Arcana, Death, Forge, Grave, Knowledge, Life, Light, Nature, Order, Peace, Tempest, Trickery, Twilight and War. And then, of course, they've got the new ones from Amonkhet, Taldore, Eberron, and then all the Unearthed Arcana, which I don't believe has been approved. So I will go with Grave. Let's make him a Grave Cleric. So first level, I get Bane and False Life, and I get to create the Circle of Mortality. First level, when you gain the ability to manipulate between life and death, when you would normally roll 1 or more dice to restore hit points with a spell to a creature at 0 hit points, you instead use the highest number possible for each die. In addition, you learn the Spare the Dying cantrip, which doesn't count against the number of cleric cantrips you know. It has a range of 30 feet, and you can cast it as a bonus action. That's really useful. And Eyes of the Grave. At first level, you gain the ability to occasionally sense the presence of the undead, whose existence is an insult to the natural life cycle. As an action, you can open your awareness to magically detect undead. Until the end of your next turn, you know the location of any undead within 60 feet of you that isn't behind total cover and that isn't protected from divination magic. This sense doesn't tell you anything about a creature's capabilities or identity, so you just know that it's there. You can use this feature a number of times equal to your wisdom modifier with a minimum of once, and you regain all expended uses when you finish a long rest. If there's not a lot of undead in this campaign, that's not going to be super useful, but Circle of Mortality will be. Spells, I won't go into spells in this because we'd be sitting here for 3 hours while I tried to decide which cantrips and which first level spells I wanted. So instead, I will move on to my background. I am taking the background of Soldier because narratively I'm saying that Krukt was part of the Orcish army and then was reached out to by Luthic, the goddess, and his path in life changed as a result for it. So, skill proficiencies, athletics and intimidation. I already have intimidation, so I will get athletics. Tool proficiencies, 1 type of gaming set and land vehicles. Generally, I like dice as a gaming set, simply because we all have dice on us at any given time, so it's really easy to represent it. In the past, I have taken more complicated gaming sets like backgammon or chess, and it can really slog down a session. This does not give me any more languages. And as far as equipment, I get an insignia of rank, a trophy taken from a fallen enemy, a set of bone dice or a deck of cards, a set of common clothes, and 10 gold. Nice. So I get the gaming set proficiency, and then as the equipment, I get dice. So that helps that out. Let's see. Specialty. Generally I pick, but today we're going to roll a d8 and choose from the options. Ordinarily I would pick Healer, which is option number 5, but I think it will be much funnier if he was the Quartermaster or Standard Bearer and now he is a Cleric. So let's see what the dice have to say. 2. Scout. So Krukt was a scout and then reached out to by Luthic. Military rank. You have a military rank from your career as a soldier. Soldiers loyal to your former military organization still recognize your authority and influence. and they defer to you if they are of a lower rank. Scout's a pretty low rank. You can invoke your rank to exert influence over other soldiers and requisition simple equipment or horses for temporary use. You can also usually gain access to friendly military encampments and fortresses where your rank is recognized. Suggested characteristics. D8 and then 3d6. So, personality trait. 5. I can stare down a hellhound without flinching. That makes a lot of sense. Just fearless, intimidating. Yeah, that's a good one. Ideals. 2. Responsibility. I do what I must and obey just authority. So this is a lawful one. I'm not sure what alignment I was going to go with, and I'm not going to speculate here because I know alignment is a hot topic within the D&D community. But obeying authority, when it's just, works for a cleric, especially one of Luthic, because while Luthic is still of the Orcish pantheon and aggressive, she's also very fair. Bonds. That's one more d6. 1. I would still lay down my life for the people I served with. Absolutely. You gotta have that loyalty. And in this campaign, as time progresses, maybe, if it progresses, because again, short campaign, he'll begin to see his fellow adventurers as people that he's serving with, even though it's less of a army and more of just a band of idiots going through the woods. Flaws. This is the last one. Let's hope it's a good one. I really hope it's number 6. 3. I made a terrible mistake in battle that cost many lives, and I would do anything to keep that mistake secret. While that is very good as far as roleplay, I was really hoping to get number 6, which was I'd rather eat my armor than admit when I'm wrong. Because playing a character that is willfully stubborn can be hilariously funny. Alright, I have walked through the steps of character creation for 5e. I've abridged a few things, and now I'm going to sign off and figure out what spells I'm going to take. I hope this has been fun to listen to. I hope you enjoy yourself, and please, especially if you've made it this far, don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe on my videos, and hit that bell so you'll know when the next ones are uploaded. Thank you so much, and I hope you have an excellent evening.